Still having goosebumps, folks? You better have it, because just about an hour ago, the India men's badminton team created history. They won the Thomas Cup 2022 by defeating 14-time champions Indonesia. Yes, it did happen. You may think that it is all a dream, but no, it's not. India have actually done it. They have beaten 14-time champions Indonesia to become the sixth nation to win the Thomas Cup. If I have to look at India in Thomas Cup 2022, it's been a dream journey. They defeated Germany and Canada final in their group stages. They lost to Chinese Taipei 2-3 and they headed into the knockouts with a slight dip in confidence. Also, you have to remember, folks, at this point in time, the women's team in the quarterfinals had crashed out to Thailand. They lost 0-3. The biggest disappointment of it all was PV Sindhu losing to Ratchanak Intanon in the quarterfinal. The women had carried the torch of success in badminton for the past decade for India. For the men, there are only fleeting moments of success in the form of Lakshya Sen or Kidambi Srikanth. But there was a miracle that was about to happen in the quarterfinal stage onwards. They defeated 5-time champions Malaysia. I will come to three very famous protagonists in this whole Thomas Cup triumph when I have to look at it. They defeated Denmark 3-2 in the semi-final, and it was that same three individuals who ensured that India had a chance at history. In Indonesia, in the final, 2 out of those 3 created history, and one youngster who is going to take world badminton by storm ensured that glory was achieved for India in grand style. Why is this so important? Why is the Thomas Cup win so significant in the history of Indian badminton, if I may have to ask? This tournament started in 1949, if I have to look at it. India have played only 13 times in the Thomas Cup. They reached the semi-final in 1952, 1955 and 1979. But you had to understand, folks, the format at that time was different. So there was no medals for the teams that lost in the semi-final. So until 1984, medals were given only to the finalists. First time India has secured a medal. It was already confirmed when they defeated Malaysia, and their hopes rose when they defeated Denmark. And now on May 15th, India have scaled the pinnacle of badminton. If I have to give a broader context to why the Thomas Cup is so important, if you have to look at the badminton calendar, folks, there are BWF over 250, there are 300, 500, 750, 1000 events. And then there are 4 major events. It's like the tennis ATP tours, WTA tours and the Grand Slams. Tennis, there is the ATP 250, 500 and 1000, and there's the Masters. As well as the 4 Grand Slams. There is something significant in badminton on those lines as well. The Thomas Cup, Sudirman Cup, All England Championships and year-ending World Championships. These 4 make up the key in badminton, if I look at it. So in this context, the Thomas Cup is the most significant, you may say, a badminton Grand Slam, if may have to look at it. What was the foundation of the Thomas Cup 2022 success? The first name that I'm going to say is Kidambi Srikanth. Kidambi Srikanth has had success at the World Championships on several occasions, but he's fallen short of the summit. In the Thomas Cup, he remained the only Indian to be undefeated in all the games that he played in. Even when India lost 2-3 to Chinese Taipei, it was Kidambi Srikanth who remained undefeated. But if there is one person who inspired India to dream, apart from Kidambi Srikanth, it was HS Pranoy. Throw your mind back, folks, to that semi-final against Rasmus Gemke in that Denmark-India clash. Pranoy was down a game, and in the second game, he had suffered a knee injury. A medical timeout was taken. He had to take painkillers. Mobility on the court was restricted. Did that deter HS Pranoy? No. In fact, he turned the tables around so spectacularly that Gemke lost composure. Playing with the pain, restricted mobility, but yet he never gave up. The entire Indian contingent this time, even if you had to look at it, Lakshya Sen, I'll come to Lakshya Sen a bit later. The entire Indian contingent had firm belief. They never gave up. HS Pranoy's win against Rasmus Gemke in that 5th match of the semi-final ensured that India had the momentum heading into the clash against Indonesia. Satvik Sairaj, Rankireddy and Chirag Shetty, all these individuals that I have talked about, they have had success in magnificent degrees throughout 2020, 2021 and even 2019 if you have to look at it. Satvik Sairaj, Rankireddy and Chirag Shetty gave India the firm belief that the gold was theirs. Why? Because Indonesia had a rich legacy in doubles. Olympics, Asian Games, the doubles contingent had dominated. So that is why the performance that they had against Ehsan and Sanjaya was indeed spectacular. So Satvik Sairaj, Rankireddy and Chirag Shetty, even against Malaysia, even against Denmark and now against Indonesia, they have notched up wins from improbable positions. So a big tribute to the likes of Kidambi, HS Pranoy and Satvik Sairaj, Rankireddy as well as Chirag Shetty. Because of these three as well as Lakshya Sen, India have joined the likes of Indonesia, China, Malaysia, Denmark and Japan as the only other teams to have won the Thomas Cup. Consider this folks, Indonesia with 14, Denmark with 1 and Malaysia with 5. Together these three nations had accounted for 20 titles in the 73-year history of the Thomas Cup. India have just joined that list now. It is indeed spectacular folks, because if you have to look at it, India reached the semi-finals for the first time in 43 years. But they were only assured of a medal for the first time because of the formats that was there. Lakshya Sen, he had faced the most difficult players in the first round against, if you have to look at it, Malaysia and Denmark. Against Denmark, he faced Victor Axelsen, the greatest player currently in men's badminton at this point in time. But against Ginting, the guy who had defeated Kento Momota in the semi-final against Japan, Lakshya showed his brilliance. He was, yes, the first game showed nerves. He was indeed very nervous and he lost at 8-21. But from that point in time, he showed composure. 21-17 and 21-16, the style of play and the way he exposed Ginting's weakness was commendable. So these four guys, HS Pranoy, Kidambi Srikanth, Lakshya Sen, as well as Satvik Sairaj, Rankireddy and Chirag Shetty ensured that India stood on the top pedestal. Why must I say that the Thomas Cup is indeed very spectacular? Because it was started in 1949 and it was an idea proposed by Sir George Allen Thomas, who incidentally, apart from being a badminton player, was also a chess player. So he proposed the idea and the first seasons involved zones. So there was Pan America, Europe and the Pacific. Malaysia and Indonesia, at that time it was Malay, they formed the Pacific. So that is why you see there were zones, there were single zone elimination systems, so only the finalists got the medals, never the semi-finalists. Until 1984, instead of 5 there were 9 matches, so a team had to win 5 games in order to clinch the series, instead of 3 which is now. 5 wins were needed for series win, and this was the crucial point folks. Knockout single elimination system was used until 1984. So teams, whoever played against each other, the team that lost were eliminated. No medals for that. Only the finalists were assured of gold and silver. After 1984, there was a group round robin ties followed by playoffs. So India defeated Germany and Canada, but they lost to Chinese Taipei, but they had secured their place in the playoffs. Had this been played according to the 1979 format, India would have not even gotten a medal because they had lost to Chinese Taipei. So in 2014, the qualification was also changed to include 16 teams. So now 16 teams vied for the spots now. In a way, it is a very significant day, folks, when I have to look at the history of the Thomas Cup. As I had mentioned, if you look at tennis and if you look at badminton, the 4 Grand Slams, the Thomas Cup is one of the Grand Slams. And if you play it in an Olympic year, then there are 5 major pinnacle events to look up to. This falls under the BWF 1000 category. Why? You get the maximum points, your rankings get a boost, as well as your prize money also increases by that. So Indian badminton for the men, if I have to look at it, there have been occasional instances of brilliance, unlike the women who had consistent success. Rewind to Prakash Padukone's 1980 All England Badminton that gave Pulela Gopichand the license to dream, and he had tremendous success in international events as well. After a lull of a decade or so, the likes of Kidambi Srikanth, HS Pranoy, B. Sai Praneeth, all others, they decided to ensure that men's badminton had a core, but Sindhu and Saina were dominating in the women's category, especially in the Olympics, Asiad and the Commonwealth. Thomas Cup has ensured that Indian men's badminton is in very safe hands, folks, especially Kidambi Shrikant's performance. HS Pranoy, you have to remember, 3 years he has been suffering from injuries. COVID didn't help, but he put up such a stellar show despite playing on one knee. And Lakshya Sen, he is going to be one of the game changers for Indian men's badminton in the near future, because he stretched Axelsen to the limit in the All England Championships as well as in the Thomas Cup. He just didn't capitalize on the big game moments. So all badminton people and all badminton lovers, May 15th is a great day for the sport. It has shown that India are the world beaters. This is just the beginning, folks. There are some beautiful chapters awaiting Indian men's badminton in the coming months and years. Thank you so much for listening to this live, folks. Do press the like, comment and share button for Sports Today, and also subscribe to all the latest happenings in the world of sport. Thank you.